You remember the volcano, right? That heat on your face, the rumble in your chest as the fire shot up into the night sky. For 30 years, standing on that sidewalk wasn't just seeing Vegas. It was feeling Vegas. But today, it's gone. Silent. Walled off behind construction fences. They tell us it's just a renovation. They tell us Hard Rock is bringing something better. But if you look closely at what is happening to the Mirage, and then you look down the street at the Rio, at Harrah's, at the Circus Circus, a terrifying pattern starts to emerge. The lights are brighter than ever, but the soul of this city? It seems to have dimmed. Drastically. We are witnessing the end of an era, and today, we are going to dig into the numbers to find out why Vegas 2026 isn't about hospitality anymore. It's about extraction. I stopped by a forum of long-time Vegas workers recently, people who have dealt cards and fixed slots since the 90s. And the sentiment isn't anger, it's sadness. One dealer, let's call him Mike, posted something that stuck with me. He said, "We used to build monuments. Now, we just build traps." That hits hard, doesn't it? Because when you check into your room and see the dust on the vents, or walk through a casino floor that feels abandoned, even on a Friday night, you aren't imagining it. You are feeling the result of a cold, calculated financial strategy. So, is the entire city collapsing? No. But the Vegas you knew? It might already be dead. Stick with me, because in the next 20 minutes, we aren't just complaining about dirty carpets. We are going to analyze 5 specific properties that are flashing red warning lights right now. We are going to look at the construction purgatory of the Rio, the value extraction happening inside Circus Circus, and the strategic stagnation that is slowly killing the Excalibur. Later on, we'll look at the specific financial pressure that is forcing Caesars to squeeze every last cent out of Harrah's, and why the fate of the Mirage proves that no history is safe. This is the story of the Vegas 2026 collapse. Let's get into it. Part 1. The Mirage. The first domino. Let's start with the one that hurts the most. The Mirage. For decades, this wasn't just a hotel. It was the blueprint. It was the reason modern Vegas exists. Before the Mirage, Vegas was just cheap buffets and smoky rooms. The Mirage brought fantasy. It brought the impossible. But in July 2024, the doors locked. And the silence that followed was deafening. Hard Rock International didn't just buy a building, they bought a legacy. And their first order of business? To dismantle it. The iconic volcano, the secret garden, the very things that made the Mirage, are being erased. They are bulldozing the oasis to build a massive, glass, guitar-shaped tower. Now, Hard Rock will tell you this is simply progress. They say the Mirage was tired. They say the market demands luxury. But let's look at the reality through the lens of cold, hard cash. Hard Rock paid over $1 billion for these operations. When you spend $1 billion, you don't care about nostalgia. You care about revenue per square foot. And frankly, a free volcano show on the sidewalk doesn't generate revenue. It generates memories. It generates joy for families standing on the Strip who might never spend a dime inside. In the old Vegas, that was a loss leader, something cool to get you in the door. But in the new Vegas, memories are a liability. That volcano is just prime real estate that isn't earning its keep. Critics will say, "Come on, buildings get old. It was time for a change. You can't live in the past." Sure, Renovation is normal. Updates are necessary. But this isn't renovation. This is erasure. This is a corporate signal that the era of theming, the era of pirates, volcanoes, and castles, is officially dead. Why? Because themes are expensive to maintain. Fake rocks crumble. Animatronics break. A glass tower? A glass tower is efficient. It's cheap to clean. It maximizes floor space. Hard Rock proved something terrifying. If the Mirage, the most legendary property on the Strip, the place that started it all, can be executed for land value, then nothing is safe. The message to every other aging casino is clear. Evolve into a cash machine or die. They aren't trying to win your loyalty with spectacle anymore. They are calculating the yield of the dirt underneath your feet. And if your favorite spot doesn't generate enough ROI, it gets the bulldozer. Part 2. Harrahs, the efficiency victim. Now, let's walk down the street to a place that is technically open, but feels like it's on life support. Harrahs. It sits right there in the center of the action. You see the lights, you see the location, and you book it because the price looks right. But then you check in. If you've stayed here recently, you've seen it. You've felt it. The stained carpets in the hallways that seem to have held the same dirt since 2010. The elevators that groan a little too loudly and take 10 minutes to arrive. The smell in the lobby, that mix of stale cigarettes and cheap floral spray that they just can't seem to cover up. Travelers online are calling it the Walmart of the Strip. But why? Why would a giant like Caesars Entertainment let a center strip property rot like this? It's prime real estate. It's not incompetence. It's not an accident. It's debt. To understand Harrahs, you have to understand the balance sheet of its parent company. Caesars Entertainment is sitting on a mountain of debt. We are talking roughly $25 billion in long-term debt as of late 2025. Think about that number. Every single day, before they sell a single beer or deal a single card, they wake up owing millions in interest payments. When you have that kind of financial gun to your head, you don't spend money on new carpets unless you absolutely have to. You don't upgrade the AC units if they are good enough. Harrahs has been designated as a cash cow. In the corporate spreadsheet, Harrahs has one job: generate maximum cash flow with minimum reinvestment. They know you'll book it because it's cheap and center strip. They are banking on your ignorance. They know you want to be near the Link Promenade and the High Roller, so they trap you with the location, charge you the resort fee, and give you absolutely nothing in return. It is an optimization trap. The managers at Harrahs aren't stupid. They know the rooms are dated. They know the service is slow. But they also know that fixing it costs millions. Millions that Caesars needs to service its debt or invest in their crown jewels like Caesar's Palace. So Harrahs suffers. And you suffer. They aren't fixing the carpets because they don't have to. As long as the occupancy rate stays high enough, as long as you keep clicking book now because it saves you $50, they will keep extracting value without putting a dime back in. Part 3. The Rio. The transformation risk. And then there is the Rio. Oh, the Rio. Remember when this place was the absolute peak of cool? Remember the masquerade village in the sky? Remember the floats, the beads, the energy? It was the place where locals and tourists actually mixed. But today? Today, the walk to the Rio feels like a journey to the end of the world. If you walk into the Rio right now, it feels eerie. Half the floor is walled off behind plastic sheeting. The energy is strange, hollow. It's like walking through a ghost town that is desperately trying to convince you it's still alive. You see empty tables. You hear the echo of your own footsteps in the convention corridors. People see this and scream, "Vegas is dying!" But wait, this one is different. The Rio isn't dying from neglect like Harrah's. It's fighting for its life. The Rio isn't being abandoned. It's being operated on. The new owners, Dreamscape, secured $850 million in financing to save this place. That is a massive number. That is a bet the farm kind of number. They are gutting rooms, completely redoing the pool deck, and trying to fix the one thing that killed the Rio in the first place: the island problem. You see, the Rio is stranded. It's not on the strip, and it's not connected to it. Walking there is dangerous. Driving there is a hassle. Dreamscape is betting that if they make the property nice enough, if they bring back the Hyatt brand, if they fix the food, you will make the trek. Optimists say, just wait. By 2027, it will be a Hyatt. It will be luxury. It will be back. And maybe they are right. I hope they are right. But right now, in 2026, you are the guinea pig. We are in what I call construction purgatory. They are attempting a heart transplant while the patient is still awake. It is a massive gamble. They're betting nearly $1 billion that they can convince you to cross that bridge again. But until that construction dust settles, the trouble here isn't neglect. It's the chaos of transition. Imagine paying full price for a resort fee, only to wake up to the sound of jackhammers at 7 a.m. Imagine walking down a hallway that smells like drywall and sawdust instead of perfume. That is the reality of the Rio today. It represents the highest risk on the board. If this renovation fails, if that $850 million doesn't bring the crowds back, then the Rio doesn't just stay quiet, it becomes the biggest tombstone in the desert. Part 4. Circus Circus. Minimum viable product. Now, brace yourselves. We are going to the one place that everyone loves to hate. Circus Circus. Just saying the name brings up a visceral reaction, doesn't it? You can almost smell it. That mix of popcorn, humidity, and sadness. If you read the reviews or listen to the YouTubers, they will tell you this place is a disaster. They film the leaks in the ceiling. They zoom in on the chipped paint. They laugh at the faded clown statues. They look at Circus Circus and see failure. But I'm here to tell you something that might shock you. Circus Circus is one of the most successful financial machines in Las Vegas. How is that possible? How can a place that looks like a horror movie set be successful? Because the owner, Phil Ruffin, isn't broke. He is a genius. A ruthless, calculating genius. While other casinos are spending billions to import marble from Italy and hire Michelin star chefs, Phil Ruffin is doing something else. He is running a minimum viable product strategy. According to financial reports, this property generates roughly $90 million in EBITDA every single year. $90 million. That is pure cash flow. And where does that money go? Does it go back into new elevators? Does it go into luxury bedding? No, it goes straight into the bank. Sure, they spend a little, maybe $30 million back in 2022 for some basic maintenance. But that is peanuts compared to what the Bellagio or Wynn spends just to keep the lights on. This isn't decay by accident. This is decay by design. Phil Ruffin knows something important. There is a massive segment of America that cannot afford $400 a night at the Cosmopolitan. Families who just want a cheap room to dump their bags. He owns the monopoly on cheap, so he provides the bare minimum: a bed, a roof, a shower that mostly works. He extracts value from the property without putting value back in. It's ugly, it's uncomfortable, but it's profitable. So the next time you walk past Circus Circus and wonder, why don't they fix it? Realize the answer is simple. They don't fix it because you keep paying for it. Part 5. Excalibur. Obsolete neighbor dilemma. Finally, let's talk about the castle, the Excalibur. It sits on one of the most valuable corners in the entire world, the intersection of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana. But looking at it, it feels like a joke, doesn't it? Those plastic turrets, the faded colors. It looks like a toy left out in the sun for 30 years. Inside, it's dark. It's dated. It feels stuck in 1990. With all the money MGM has, with all the luxury they built at Harrah and Bellagio, why is the Excalibur allowed to exist in this state? Is MGM broke? No. Is it negligence? No. It is strategic stagnation. Look across the street. Look at what used to be the Tropicana. It's gone, demolished, flattened. And in its place, we are about to see a massive new baseball stadium for the A's. The A's stadium will be built on the Tropicana site across the street, fundamentally changing the surrounding development trajectory. That stadium changes everything. The land value on that corner is skyrocketing. Every square inch of dirt near that stadium is turning into gold. And this is where the dark economics comes in. MGM isn't renovating Excalibur because Excalibur isn't the future. Why would you spend $500 million fixing up a fake castle when the land underneath it might be worth more if you just bulldozed it in 5 years? They are keeping Excalibur on life support. They are doing the bare minimum to keep the doors open and the slots spinning. They are waiting. They are waiting for the A's stadium to rise. They are waiting for the surrounding development to drive the property values into the stratosphere. So, the Excalibur sits there, the odd man out in a gentrifying neighborhood. It's a placeholder, a budget option for tourists who don't realize they are sleeping in a building that is likely marked for death. The trouble here isn't that the castle is old. The trouble is that the castle is obsolete. And in Vegas, when you become worth more dead than alive, your days are numbered. So, what does all this mean for you? For your next trip in 2026? We have to accept a hard truth. The Vegas we knew, the Vegas where you could find a hidden gem, where a cheap room was still a nice room, that Vegas is gone. The city has split into two distinct worlds. On one side, you have the luxury tier, the Winds, the Fontainebleaus. These places are spectacular. They are clean, they are opulent, and they are priced for the top 1%. If you have unlimited money, Vegas is better than ever. But then, you have the zombie tier. The Rios, the Harrahs, the Excaliburs. These are the properties caught in the gears of corporate finance. They are either drowning in debt, trapped in construction hell, or being strategically milked for cash. The middle class, the average family, is being pushed into these optimization traps. You are paying resort fees for resorts that stopped trying 10 years ago. Markets eventually self-correct. That is the rule of economics. If prices are too high and quality is too low, customers leave. And maybe that is what needs to happen. Maybe empty hallways are the only language these corporations understand. But until that correction happens, you have a choice to make. When you book your next trip, look past the shiny photos on the website. Look at the balance sheet. Look at the ownership. Ask yourself, are they inviting me in as a guest, or are they just extracting value from me like a resource? I want to hear from you. Have you stayed at Harrah's or Rio lately? Did you feel the squeeze we talked about today? Or do you think I'm being too harsh? Leave a comment below. Let's warn the other travelers. And if you want to understand the real mechanics behind the places you love, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We don't just look at the lights here. We look at the shadows. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there.